Welcome to Health Styles Market. My name is Arlys and I'm the owner. So we've been working on care for the chronically ill. And so far we've done some segments on food, what we're eating, what our diet consists of. That's a core basic. And then we did some segments on sleep. That's also a core basic. So generally, if we're getting our body nourished and satisfied with proper food that works best for us, and then if we're focusing on let's calm down, let's sleep, let's get deep restful sleep, what changes can we make to help us personally get better sleep? The next one to add is movement. Lots of people call it exercise. But this is a class for care for the chronically ill. You know that if you fit into that category, you're lucky to get up in the morning and have enough energy for your cup of coffee and maybe put in time to cook a healthy breakfast or eat a healthy breakfast. Showering has to be scheduled for a lot of people. Energy is low. Exercise is not going to happen for this category of people. They're not going to bounce out of bed, change into their exercise clothes, and drive to the gym. And yet we need improved circulation. So printing this sheet will give you notes, or a place where you can write down notes and ideas. Excuse me. And I'm also going to do a segment on exercise, as in improving circulation. So part of the reason we want to improve circulation is we know that healing takes place and improved circulation is a part of that process. And part of it is that it's bringing new fresh blood and nutrients inside your body to the area that's been weakened or damaged or altered by surgery. Or maybe you need circulation improved everywhere in your body, but it brings improved nutrition in your blood and circulation is improved, but it also detoxes naturally toxins from that area of the body. So it's a double benefit to have improved circulation. Sometimes we feel like it's all or nothing. I've either got to be able to go to the gym and I've got to push and work out and do whatever, or I don't want to do anything. And that's okay. You can have that attitude, but it isn't a healing attitude. It isn't a helpful attitude. Doing things in little increments can add up over time and still improve your internal world. So we're going to talk about different ways that you can have improved circulation and improved movement. I want to talk a little bit more about if you could hear how many people in a day and how many people in a week and how many people in a month, their big focus is, I just want to lose weight. If I lost weight, everything would be better. So I want to tell you some story. One in particular is about my mom. And she was an organic gardener before anybody had that term. If she were alive today, she'd be over 105 years old. She was born in 1920. And it's like she married and had children, 6 to be exact, and lost the weight after each child and maintained that weight for all the rest of her adult life until she passed away. It was not with a lot of effort other than she ate a healthy diet. She ate her organic garden. They bought a half a beef. My dad wasn't a farmer, so they didn't grow it, but they bought it and made it a part of our lives, our daily diet. She had very balanced meals. Like supper was always like meat and vegetables and some kind of carbohydrate, usually potatoes, because that's what my dad preferred. And she'd make desserts, not all the time, but maybe one a week. And she liked to walk and she worked hard. And it just wasn't really an issue. And her big focus was balance. And yet, in later years, she developed high blood pressure. And people have a misconception that if someone has excess weight on their bones, they're going to have high blood pressure. That did not apply to my mom. And so going to her primary care doctor, and they were focused on this high blood pressure and it needed to come down. She did not like to take the medications and wasn't really fond of the side effects of them. And yet they couldn't say to her, well, if you just lose this excess weight, if you just lose weight, you will, your blood pressure will come down, because there's that conception. That's a myth. If you carry excess weight, you're going to have high blood pressure. And so one time I talked with her on the phone and she was kind of teary. And they actually had accused her of being anorexic and not eating enough food. And because she was so thin, she wasn't excessively thin. She was the same weight she'd been in high school. But that was the concept, because that was the belief. And that's really, really not true. So that's just one little example, but it's an example of why is the focus just lose the weight, lose the weight. Because if you're a thin person, you'll be healthy. But that's just externally. That's not on a cell level. So that's part of why we're working with care concepts for the chronically ill. There's a lot more going on that you're going through, and a lot more you're processing, and a lot more your body is doing than just being concerned about the weight number on the scale. And so there were numerous diagnoses my mom worked with and lived with and tried to address. And generally, she'd always be blamed with the desserts or the food or the weight or the whatever, but that really wasn't true. So we want to move past that. So on movement and circulation, a big issue that we're going to talk in the next video is about your lymph and what that means and how that applies to you. And in subsequent segments, we'll be talking about what are some movement things you can do, even if you're bedridden or you're chair-ridden, and so you don't have a lot of freedom of movement. What else can you do to improve circulation? And there are things that you can do. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening to the introduction of movement and exercise. As I go through this, you'll learn, hopefully, you'll be introduced to new ideas that you didn't know before, and maybe how they can benefit you, even in a life of chronic illness. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.